Alrighty. Hello there. Boy, this is my channel. Welcome. Gonna do a little bit of writing here today. And I think it's gonna be fun. I'm excited about it. It's a Good Friday. It's not like the religious holiday Good Friday. It's just a good day and it also is a Friday. I don't know. It's a great Friday. How about that one? How about that one? We're actually getting some sunshine around here, which is a nice change of pace, considering we've had nothing but snowstorms the past 2 days. So I'm pretty happy about that. Nice bright day to kind of cruise into the weekend with. So yeah, I'm feeling good. Hopefully everyone out there is also feeling good. Hard to not feel good when it's a Friday, at least for most of us. I guess that's a kind of a blanket statement that isn't true for everyone. I mean, if you work weekend shifts, maybe the Fridays aren't super exciting, but I don't know. At any rate, one way or another, my day is going well. I hope your day is going well as well. And yeah, we're going to kick off today's streaming with some writing. We're going to work on our campaign a little bit, our long-form campaign that we've been working on for quite some time now. But, you know, these things take time. And I have a lot of fun doing it, so we're just gonna keep on plugging away at it. Nothing else to do, really. So let me go ahead and get us over. There we go. So, as I've kind of been trying to make a habit of, now that we're very far into a campaign, it's really easy for me to just sort of fall into a habit of, like, we start the stream and then I immediately start working. And if you're, you know, new to the project I'm working on, there's a lot of context that's kind of missing for this. And granted, doing a recap right at the beginning of a stream is only so helpful because people will stop in at random times, so, you know, might not be super helpful. But if there's anyone watching the VODs, then there's some good context for you there at that point. But yeah, so in that spirit of trying to just sort of do a little catch up so that we always understand exactly what's going on, we're working on a campaign, a long campaign that is going to run for assuming a group of about 5 players in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, right? Assuming a group of about 5 players, it should run them from levels 1 to 10, this campaign that we're working on. And it takes place entirely, it's an entirely homebrew setting, my own homebrew world, the world of Zeoria, which is what we can see right here. This is our lovely map, and I'm quite proud of it. I enjoy looking at my map every time I open it. It makes me happy. It's a good map. Not just serviceable, but attractive and fun and exciting with lots of fun, unique areas. But this is the world, and the nature of this world is not just standard fantasy, but sort of a post-apocalyptic fantasy. And what that means is it's built off the premise that mortal and ethereal planes and all of that all sort of exist as layers would exist in, like, a jar of water and sand and rocks and oil, right? Where things just kind of like different sediments kind of form different layers, right? So they're all kind of in the same jar, but they're pretty well defined, right? That's typically how it is. This world is a post-apocalyptic world, and there was an event called the Unhinging in it, where basically you can imagine if we had that jar of all those different layers, the Unhinging was as if someone sort of took that jar and gave it a good shake, so that the entire series of layers all got kind of jumbled up, mixed about, torn, you know, and just sort of are now messed up in amongst each other. So the idea, you know, the idea being that when that first happened, it introduced a whole lot of crazy insanity to the world. Monsters grew even more horrendous and hideous than they had been before. Magic was powerful. Different areas where there were different tears and rips in reality just sort of have this, like, magical radiation effect where it just sort of, like, the closer you get, the weirder things get, and the more affected by that magic you and the environment are. Because of that, intelligent life sort of retreated to one of, a handful of cities that we can see kind of dotting the landscape around here. We've got, let's see, how many did I end up doing when I did this? I never use all of them at once, so I always lose track. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No, 10, 11. 11 cities. There's 11 cities, right? 4, 5, 6. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yes, there are 11 cities. Counting is challenging sometimes. Give me a break. But so 11 cities sort of became the stronghold of any sort of they use within this world the term enlightened is used. Any of the enlightened races or beings sort of either retreated to these areas or essentially just died by exposure, by monster, by magic, whatever it was. Life just kind of the world became just largely inhospitable except for in these like large, well-fortified cities. So we have a lot of people living in these cities but not really anywhere else. Well, over time, those layers started to sort of re-percolate and re-separate, so things have been slowly sort of returning to a more sane state of being. And as such, efforts to sort of re-explore, reclaim, rediscover all of these lost abandoned places have been sort of picking up a little bit of steam, and that's becoming more common. Granted, this is happening a couple thousand years after the unhinging, so most of what people are finding is just long forgotten stuff. There are societies, there are cities that there just weren't any records of because people, when they were fleeing all of the chaos, didn't have the time to stop and pack up a library or anything like that. So a lot of the world was forgotten and is now being discovered, and so that gives the games that I run sort of this. It's very like Shadow of the Colossus-esque in that there's just this really lonely, abandoned world that has a bunch of forgotten things for players to sort of discover and explore and learn about histories that have just long been gone, which is just a concept that fascinates me, right? Like abandoned, forgotten cultures and societies is always an interesting topic to me. So, at any rate, that's the world. Now, our campaign that we're working on, make sure I'm on the right thing here, takes place within this hex of the map, right here in this sort of intersection between the Golden Wind Plains, the High Doom Mountains, and the Siski Forest. Right, this intersecting area right here is where our campaign takes place, and we have a map of just that area. And basically what's happening, actually I'm going to take us back here. Basically the premise, or at least what starts the campaign, is there's an effort for the city of Fosvik and the city of Muffafetting to try and build a trade route between the two cities so that trade can be more effectively done between them. Because right now, this route is the only guarded road that people bother using. And even then, guarded is kind of to mean if you have enough guards, this way is known to be at least possible to traverse your way through the wilds. And so, but with things getting calmer, there's sort of this desire to rebuild some other more expedited routes. So that's kind of what the opener is, and we can see here on our sort of region map how that is going. All right, so we've got the pathway going along down here that they've carved, and it's made it to about this point. They've established a sort of a small city to serve as like a resupply point for the caravan that's much closer than the multiple week journey back up to Fosvik, just to kind of give them another option. But basically the way the campaign opens is the players are part of this expedition force that has moved to about this level here when they're confronted by a dragon who holds dominion over the Golden Wind Plains and is displeased that enlightened races are doing anything in this area, because the dragon sort of holds this belief that's kind of accurate but maybe misrepresentation of the enlightened, the humanoids, that they tend to bring with them concepts of war, concepts of taking and damaging environments and stuff like that. And the dragon holding dominion over the Golden Wind Plains doesn't want to see his territory fall to humanoid activity. So the dragon shows up and says, no, I'm not going to let you do this. To which the players in their caravan will respond, well, what if we like cut a deal? Is there something we can do for you in exchange for opening this road? The dragon says to them, all right, well, there's this one place called the Hall of Wisdom. I believe it holds some sort of really powerful, really interesting magical item that I want access to. Unfortunately, the hall is locked up by both magic and physical key, so I need the keys to be able to get in. And so the players will presumably accept the call to adventure and go on a quest to find 4 keys to unlock the Hall of Wisdom. They'll start doing some research, and they'll find that the first key is hidden up here in the mountains, amongst the giant societies that live up here, right? So they make a trek up here, they journey and do some adventuring among giants. It's up to them how adversarial they are about that, and then they can make their way back. The second leg, they make their way down here to the abandoned dwarven city of Cogdoral, find that it's not actually so abandoned, filled with Duragar, and then depending on how they go about it, doesn't really matter. It's more importantly, one way or another, they find out that the next key is most likely hidden within the vaults of Cogdoral, which is sort of the locked up and guarded by all kinds of horrible monsters that exist inside the mountains, a large collection of treasure that would have been the dwarves' wealth. So players have the opportunity to, well, not the opportunity, they kind of have the obligation, if they want to continue the campaign, to go questing within here. And that's about where we are in our campaign writing process here. So we've started to do all the details of the dungeon, and you can see we have a almost completed first of 5 floors that this dungeon is going to have. I use the term dungeon kind of loosely. In my games, dungeon tends to just mean like chapter, right? So it's like, it's not so much that this is a singular dungeon as it is a chapter in the story, which is the chapter of getting from the Duragar city to the vaults to get the key. And then it kind of encompasses getting back as well. That's sort of like an interim sub-chapter of sorts. And for each chapter, there are there's a set of 10 rooms for each level of the chapter. That is, which is to say, this is the 5th chapter, the 5th dungeon. So there are 5 sets of 10 rooms. So that way things kind of keep getting more in-depth, keep getting bigger, keep getting longer as players get higher leveled. So that way just the challenge kind of keeps up with them as they become more advanced adventurers and all that kind of stuff. So that's where we're at with this. The chapter is going to encompass kind of almost 3 stages it can be thought of. The first 2 sets of rooms are going to be getting through an abandoned and unreclaimed part of the Dwarven city. So the Duragar came into this Dwarven city of Cogdoral, reclaimed it for themselves. They're like, hey, this is a conveniently already built city. If we just clear out some monsters, we've got a place to live. So they do that, but the city is much bigger than the Duragar people need. The Duragar are still a growing society. Their existence is the result of dwarves who were trapped in the mountain and experienced trouble with that sort of magical radiation I was talking about during the unhinging. That's where the Duragar came from in my world. And so the players will have the opportunity to either interact with them or do some espionage among them. Either way, they'll find out that the Duragar have left parts of this dwarven society unreclaimed, including this part of the city. And this part is the first of the 2 parts that are the abandoned part of the city. The first part is going through sort of like a Galleria mall type of place, and then the second area is more of a suburban place that has a lot of like abandoned dwarven homes in it. The sort of second part of this thing is then just going through a series of, and I think I already mapped it all out, going through a series of tunnels that were constructed as sort of like a maze-like pathway to get to the vaults, as a way to just sort of protect all of the treasure and stuff. So they have to go through a couple of those until they get to the vaults where they can then find the key. And then the final part of it is we're going to set it up so that way there's some sort of collapse in this underground stuff, so that you have to find a different way to get back, which is going to be through a more forested area within the mountains. So that's kind of how we're breaking this one up. And I'm excited about it because it'll give them a few different looks, a few different feels of how it's going to pan out for them as they're journeying through this area. So I'm excited to be working on it. I think it's going to be fun, and we should be able to today at least finish this this first part of it, even if we don't make it any further beyond that. I think we should at least have success getting that done, which I think will be perfectly great, and I'm excited about it. So with all of that explanation in place, let's go ahead and get some work going here. So let me see here. I need to pull up our actual segment here. There we go. We're working in our Q5, and we are working on the Dwarven Vaults. Here we go. So I break things up by room, and I put all my notes here as they're going to show up in the in the dungeon when players encounter it. We've already sort of determined what's going to be in each of these rooms. Sometimes we change that. I do it randomly just to sort of make it a fun, creative writing exercise for myself. Because after all, I get to, even though I'm the DM and I'm providing a game for others, I get to have fun with it too, dang it. So we've already kind of predetermined what's going to be in each room, and so now it's just our job to sort of figure out how that ends up looking. Right, and we haven't well, I guess we've only done that with the first room, and so we'll do that with the other, for the first set of rooms, and we'll do that for the second step when we get there, so we might be doing that today. But for right now, we need to look at room 9, figure out what's in there, figure out how to put a trap and some treasure in there, so that it makes sense. So, room 9 is this one right here. It's kind of a big one, and if we're talking about this being sort of like a shopping district, right, we have already established a couple different food-based locations. We have sort of a bookstore here. We have like an alchemy shop over here. This is like a blacksmith weapons shop. This is not so much a blacksmith. This is just the weapons shop. We have the a sort of like cloth shop, a cloth and clothing type of shop here. And so what I'm thinking with 9, actually, since we have the distributor of the completed like swords and shields and stuff, I almost feel like 9 might just be like, this is a big space, we can just make this a blacksmith area, right, where there's a couple blacksmiths that all sort of work in conjunction with each other, and they produce the things that are then sold over here. So this is more of like a factory type of setting, so to speak, but I think that can serve just fine. So I think that's how I want to describe this. So let's go ahead and just put a few features in here that we need to put. I don't think I feel like, as I'm looking at this and thinking about it, I feel like this area, I'm gonna move. Hold on a second. I want to. Well, I guess we got to do it this way. Move that there. To unsnap things. And I want to grab. No, I need to grab just the lamp. Okay, fine. Make it. You know what? Just forget it. We'll just put a new one down. Just forget it. It'll be easier to do it that way. Let's see here. Object tool. We can just go to our used objects, pull up another sconce here, and just match it up with where we put the light. There we go. That's perfect. That's perfect. So we can do that. So this shop isn't going to really have any need for display windows. I feel like it's going to be more of just a snap onto grid. There we go. I like the doors to be snapped on. I don't know why. It just bothers me if they're not there. Just bothers me if they're not there. Hey, how's it going? The Albert of Sartir. Sartir? I don't know. I'm so bad at pronouncing names. And like, what's worse is I call attention to it. So, but either way, Sart, got it. Okay. The Albert of Sart. Welcome. Glad to see you here. But yeah, so we'll put some doors here. This is just going to be a blacksmithing shop. I feel like they're not going to worry about having like shop display windows or anything like that. So I'm not going to worry about putting those in there. Like Jean. Oh, okay. Gotcha. That makes sense. Thank you. I appreciate the context. All right. So we'll put that all there. Let's go ahead and just decorate this, and then we'll worry about trying to figure out all the specifics of it. Pull up our little blacksmith thing here. And then you gotta figure out how we're gonna set that up. So we can just kind of set this up. Maybe they have just like a couple planning desks here just to mix it up. Not all of them have papers and stuff on them. We got a couple little prep areas there. And then I feel like the best way to do it is gonna be just to like put 2 or 3 stations here. We can put like, here's an idea, watch this. We can do 1, 2 stations, and then we'll put like 2 open area stations. And it's like, that's how they would have done everything. Kind of doesn't really matter because the area is going to be I mean, it's abandoned just like any other part of this city here, but we can do those there. Need more background noise. Hey, I am honored to be your background noise. Hi, Kitty. Aw, Kitty's gonna come say hi. Did you want to snuggle? Kitty, you can't stand right in front of the you can't stand right in front of the keyboard. That's not functional. There you go. Here, I can back up and give you just a little more room. There you go. Oh, that's a good kitty. Oh no, sweetie. You like the warmth of the blanket I have on my lap, don't you? That nice electric blanket. This has now turned into a watch me dote on my cat stream. I hope that's what you wanted to watch, because that's what's going to happen for the next at least like 30 seconds. You know, that's just how it goes sometimes. Although I feel like what would happen is if I were to move the camera so that everyone could see the kitty, then I would get away with it. But let's see here. Oh, kitty. So, Stock, see if my insight is gonna. I guarantee you it's not. I guarantee you my insight is not what it would need to be to understand. Let's see here. So we'll put a couple quenching tables here, and then we can give like each one just like a random tool that's just like sitting nearby, just to mix it up a little bit there. Oh, I feel like each one would have just like a little bit of coal here. Let's see here. Put that right there, I guess. Yeah, that looks okay. It's kind of interesting. Oh, here we go. I'm gonna put just like a couple tables of like items and stuff that are in the process of being worked on. Watch, if we do that, and there's actually a couple like weapons racks, we can put those there. And set like maybe a bellows over here. And then maybe each one of these will have a bellows just piled around it. If we do that, and then we need to do the same things. Oops, not the metal bar, we need this. We need sort of the same things over here. The water troughs right there. It's a rat vote doctor in space. That's awesome, but there's no way I would have ever guessed that. So I'm glad you told me. Because I would not have been able to guess that. Alright, let's see here. So we'll put those there. Obviously there's gonna need to be an anvil in each of these places. Actually, here's what we'll do. We'll put the anvils kinda like that. Kinda like how cluttered these are looking. It kinda makes it feel pretty realistically used to me. If you have like the nice cluttered feeling to everything. Maybe that one's like sitting on the mantle or something like that. Do that. Maybe this one's just got like a little pike sitting right there or something like that. Do that. Watch this one. We'll put one more big old bellows, like it's already kind of put in place there. There we go. That gives us some interesting environment for players to look through. And then what we'll do, I think what's going to be kind of fun about this setting, is we'll put some torches. I'm always, despite the fact that this is an abandoned city, I try to always be kind enough to my players to make sure there's still light for them to see by, in here, just because, like, even though there is a certain enjoyment in the challenge of players trying to figure out what to do if one or multiple of them don't have whatever dark vision they would need to see what's going on in a place, that's not actually all that much fun for players to understand, because it's really hard when you're not in it. Like, even if you can't see well, if you're in a room, it's easier to gain some sense of spatial awareness, you know, if it's dark. Whereas if you're just trying to use your mind's eye while, like, not getting any explanation, it's just impossible to have any understanding. So I always give them a little light, but the fun thing is this one, we can make sure the light is pretty dim, because it would normally be assumed that a lot of the light comes from the glow of the fires and stuff like that. But they're going to be well put out, and I'm going to leave those ones that way. So that way it's still a little, you know, dark and mysterious for players. And so we'll instead just have some torches here that are just for some reason always lit. And we'll just not, like, think about it too much. Just let it be. Let's see here. Alright, what do you got? Medically, biologically messed up, 5-foot rat. Space is a little misfit freak show and his traveling medicine ship performing diagnoses, new medications, harvesting organs, and doing surgeries. Abomination of Corvus. Awesome. I dig it. I dig it. Alright. Okay. So we got that blacksmith there. I think visually that looks good. So let's think about what's going to be in here. So we got to think about some sort of trap. And what's going to be tricky about this one is the traps, because this is an entirely abandoned area, the traps really need to be pretty like natural traps, more that are more in the way of, like, if they accidentally trigger something in the environment, it'll make the room challenging. And I'm wondering if we can do something with just sort of like the ash and soot that would naturally be in this room. I'm wondering if there's a way to think about a good trap that would be interesting for them with that one. I'm wondering if it would actually be kind of fun. We could do something where it's like the trap is that, like, if they, because there's going to be like chimneys for exhaust or something like that, if they like slam and lock the doors, it could be something along the lines of maybe bats that swarm in from the tunnels or something like that, and the trap is just that they might get, like, bitten up by some swarms of bats. That kind of turns it into a combat situation, but if it's just bats going around, it could be fun. We could even include some sort of, like, rabies scare or something like that. Let's see here. Ship equipment is determined by points. Okay, just stat-wise, where shit they get. Fair enough. Fair enough. So that way Doc gets cool stuff. I got you. I see what you're saying. All right, let's see here. So we want a trap here. All right, so if we're gonna do the trap, I like the idea of the bats. And so what I'm gonna do is we're gonna say, I want to put a DM note in here, so that way we can just sort of have our notes immediately in place. So we'll say trap is triggered. Trap is triggered if players close any doors or make any loud noises. If we do that, I think that'll work. I think that's good. Yeah, I think that's all we really need. And what we can do is just add some descriptions here. Doc sounds very gross. I think that's what you're going for, but he sounds very gross. Alright, so trap is triggered if players close any doors or make any loud noises. Let's see here. So as you enter this shop, it is clear that this was once a blacksmithing shop. 4 stations stand, cold and abandoned, but still completely equipped. Still completely equipped to conduct any metalworking projects imaginable. Just to kind of like goad players into thinking, oh, maybe I can try and make something here. Because then they would start making noise and it'd be perfect for triggering the trap. So we'll say as, and we're going to do a little trick here, as insert noise they make. As whatever noise they make echoes off of the walls and up the exhaust chimneys, you start to hear a rustling noise that steadily grows louder. Oops, no T in louder. There we go. Steadily grows louder. Suddenly, hundreds of bats burst out of the chimneys and fill the room. Don't ask questions about why they would go deeper into the tunnel as opposed to leaving the tunnel and going outside. It's not fun if they don't come into the room, so we'll just suspend disbelief and say that that's how the bats choose to try and escape. So 100 bats burst out of the chimneys and fill the room. It is pure chaos as the flapping of leathery wings and the flapping leathery wings and small furry bodies fill the air around you. So we'll we'll again make these DM notes here. These aren't things we want to read aloud, but we'll just say, let them choose how to handle it. If they want combat, just throw together a few swarm of bats enemies for them to fight. If they choose more roleplay efforts, just yes and actually wait, hold on. Just quote, yes and your way through it. Any failures or bites, if in combat, result in a chance to get rabies. I'm gonna just like make it flat out, chance to get rabies. We're gonna put little rules there for if they get rabies. Why not? That'll be fun. When bitten, have them roll 1d20. If the result is natural 1, they contract the disease. If they have rabies, have them progressively show more symptoms each day until they see an actual healer or get divine treatment in some way. And in parentheses, conventional healing won't work. I'll just do that. Have them progressively show more symptoms, so that way they have to deal with that as long term. That's a good trap consequence. I like it. This is by Doc Holliday. Nice. Alright. So there we go. So there's plenty of stuff. That's a good trap. I like that trap. Treasure. So now let's just go ahead and pull together some treasure for him here. Hey, I thought I told you to underline, you goofy thing. There we go. Treasure. Yeah, that's what we need. So for the treasure, I like to just use, let me pull up here. Where's our loot gen? There it is. This is one of my favorite tools. When we're just trying to come up with a regular old loot pile for players, I like to just use this because it's a tool that'll automatically roll on the Dungeon Master's Guide treasure tables, which I find is a really good way to just sort of have like passive, non-extraordinary treasure that just kind of matches whatever the challenge of that floor is going to be. If I want magical stuff, I usually have something a bit more intentional. So when I'm just doing like a random, like, yeah, give them some money, this is the tool I like to use. And I'm just going to double check just to make sure. I always set the treasure to whatever the highest challenge rating of an enemy within that floor is, because each floor gets kind of progressively harder as we go through a dungeon. So this one, it's a challenge rating of 2. So we don't need to worry about getting anything particularly valuable here. So we'll just keep our 0 to 4. And we make sure that horde is checked there, because it's not just like what's on an individual. It's in total here. So 171 gold, easy enough. So treasure, although we can just sort of add a quick description here. We'll say tucked. We'll say tucked under the under one of the drawing tables is a small chest. The chest is locked, but appears easy enough to break into. And we're just gonna do just a quick DM note there, just to put in AC 14. Just let them break it if they hit. I never really see the point of doing too much in the way of like hit points on an inanimate object. Like doors kind of make sense, just in the sense of if players are trying to run away from something, you know, if it's a really sturdy door, like if they're trying to run away from Michael Myers, right, and Michael Myers is about to show up and make their day a lot worse, then they want to get through quickly. And so even if they hit it, right, if it's a really sturdy door, it might, you know, it adds to that suspense for them to struggle to get through it. But as a general baseline, players aren't trying to break apart chests or break into chests or break through locked doors while there's an enemy behind them. In a game like D&D, they usually kill the enemy and then worry about getting into the inanimate object. So I've just never really seen the point of adding hit points to those, because it just draws it out kind of unnecessarily, because they'll either keep trying until they break it or not. So, you know, it doesn't make sense to worry too much about hit points. But we will say AC 14, they gotta at least hit it, right? So we'll do that. There, and then we need to not be there. See ya, kitty. So we'll do that. She knocked the microphone. She always does. She's got that flappy tail that always goes. Oh shoot! You put a. Okay, what do we got? What do we got? Let's see here. Oh wow, you've got some really complicated custom items there. Allow him to kill his target, but instead paralyze, poison them until unconscious. Oh, that's interesting. I like that part of it. Yeah, I like that part of it. The concept of just like as a character trait, he doesn't kill anyone. He just sort of renders them unconscious. That's an interesting concept. I like that. Alright, so let's see here. Inside, you see a small collection of money and objects. Apparently this was a cash register of sorts before this city was abandoned. Boom. Let's do that. Oh, I gotcha. It's the weapon that doesn't kill them. Gotcha. Gotcha. This is a very sadistic character you've got going on. Very, 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 very gross and with a dirty soul to match it by the sounds of it. Alright, so apparently this was a cash register of some sort, before the city was abandoned. Perfect. Do that, and then we'll just throw down with the, what was it, 171 gold? GP. I never really bother doing, I never really bother with a whole lot of the, like, silver and copper pieces, because players just don't end up using them. Like, it's, you can kind of break it down for the sake of, like, ins and everything, but all my players are always like, I'll just tip them whatever it would cost to, like, do the extra, just round up to the gold, and they just always do that. So we'll do that, and then we'll just copy and paste these things here and put them in there. Most of my players won't worry about, like, especially with the art objects, they won't really worry about the details of those. Same with gems. But I always put them in there because when I'm writing these campaigns, I like to write them not just for whatever current game I'm playing. I mean, obviously, I'm not doing that because this campaign that we're doing right now isn't one that I'm actively playing with my players. Oh, it's treating them as separate as one thing. No, I didn't want to do that. See, that's why I got to get rid of the links, dang it. But yeah, like, I'm not actually playing this one with any players at the moment. So when I'm designing these, I like to make sure that they're ready to go regardless of what the attitude of the group is. So I leave this in there in case I do in the future end up using this one to run a game where players do want that level of detail. Let's see. So we're gonna I always put the 2 times there. It's just easier to remember it. And then I don't know why they put the ×4 inside there. It makes more sense to do that outside in the front there, so it's all part of it. Let's see here. Sounds like you've got a lot of homebrew type stuff going on with this character. It's really interesting. It's really a lot of really interesting concepts going on there. It sounds like you're really running wild with it. Let's see here. Damn it. I mean, that's good. Yeah, you definitely want the DM. I sort of assumed you were working with your TM to have all of that level of customization going there. Yeah, it's a really interesting character, that's for sure. Alright, let's see here. Okay. So that's good. That's our treasure, and I think that's all we really need. I guess the only thing that I should do is, because of how I've described the treasure being there, you should go here. Have I already used a chest? I have to have used a chest at some point in here. Oh, yeah, I was going to put like that right there. So we'll do that. Oh, wait, hold on. I need to do under, so that way our torch is still in place there. And then, yeah, here we go. I have used a chest. And we'll put the chest underneath here. And just put the chest kind of poking out there. So that way it's visually there if our players get curious and want to actually see if it's there. So, perfect. Okay. So that's one room done. Now we got one last room to do in this section before we can move on to our next segment of this dungeon. So that's some good progress right there, baby. Heck yeah. Alright, so this one's going to have a medium battle. These are actually always really easy to come up with. I like doing the battles. Quick and easy that way. Medium battle. Oh, wait, hold on. So the one thing I do want to check here is what sort of medium. So we already have one medium battle, 400 experience points. It's fair. We did 2 chitines and 4 steeders. Yeah, steeders. Could do 2 chokers. That'd be a good one. Let's do that. These things are really creepy. So 400 XP is what's called for in this one. And then let's do 2 chokers worth 200 XP apiece. Let's see here. Yeah, you definitely have to cut back on some of his powers and abilities if you're gonna have weapons that powerful, because those weapons are doing a whole lot of stuff to the enemies there. So it definitely makes sense that you'd have to take a certain level of penalties to balance it out. Okay, so before we worry about the description, let's just see what kind of let's think about what kind of room we want this to be. So we have, I'm trying to just think about what types of shops might be around. We have sort of like a general store here. We have blacksmith, we have clothing, we have bookstore here, we have alchemy, a couple like restaurants, a couple food establishments. I don't know what else we could have here. I almost wonder if like this would be a good one. We could just have like some sort of like administrative building or something like that. I don't know, like a place where there would be like a mayor of this part of town or something, just like a generalized office type of building. I don't know that medieval times really endorsed or utilized the concept of offices, but it's at least a way to sort of fill up some space. And the thing is too is like it's familiar to the players. So even if it's not something that would be familiar to the characters, if it's familiar to the players, that makes it easy enough to describe and utilize that we can just kind of put it in there, and it's not that outlandish. Let's see. I want desk. That's what I want. I'm just gonna put a handful of desks around in here. So we can put like, we can just like have a couple series of like back-to-back desks and stuff like that. I don't want all of them to have the drawer open though. Oh, that's really big. Actually, hold on. Let me just search for a table here. Yeah, here we go. There's a lot of options that we can use here. That'll be a bit better. Yeah, here we go. They call that a small table. It looks pretty big to me. Let's see here. Yeah, I suppose dying in one shot definitely makes him pretty limited. That's very true. That's very true. So that's definitely sort of an equalizer there. Let's see here. We'll just put a couple desks there, and then we'll just put a couple like bookshelves around. Call it good. I don't know. It's one of my less inspired things, but not all of them can be winners. Like I say, as much as anything, we're just trying to kind of fill some space at this point. Let's see here. Let's see here. Just put a couple bookshelves like that, and then maybe grab like these and do that one like right there and right there. Just something like that. No, I actually think that character sounds exactly like he's RP focused. I think that's really easy to believe. I mean, there's so much character and customization going there that like it clearly was intended with a very obvious, like he's very clearly built with a very clear character personality in mind. So I think that's pretty clear to see. Let's see. So we'll just put a couple chairs. Oops, here we need to put the chairs underneath. Sure, it looks so tiny that way. Oh well, good enough. Do that, and then here we'll make one of the chairs like broken, because it is a broken down, abandoned building. So if we do that, and then just like mismatch it and have this one not have arms. There we go. And do stuff like that, and then let's put just a couple torches in there for posterity here. Oh, wait, hold on. I still haven't even put a door in this place. Feel like that's a pretty essential component to this building, isn't it? Otherwise, how do they get in? What do I need? I need to go here. Portal tool. Grab ourselves a door. Do that. And the doors, I like snapping those to grid. So there we go. Now we can go ahead and go to our torches there. Unsnap to grid. No, I said unsnap. There we go. Wait, you didn't? Okay, good. I just want to make sure I didn't actually, like, put a torch down where I didn't want one. If we just do... Actually, you know what? I'm going to put chandeliers in this one. If it's an office building, they would probably have it be a little bit nicer and have chandeliers. At least that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm decreeing. And I'm the god of this world, so I can do what I want. Hooray! Do that and that. There we go. Perfect. There we go. Nice. No, I think that's super interesting. That's a really cool character arc. Like, you've clearly put a lot of thought into the character, and I think that's like the best thing that excuse me, that's like the best indicator that it's going to be a good character. Like, people who put thought into their characters will naturally be able to just sort of like play them in more meaningful ways. So I think that puts you in really good position with that character for sure. Okay, so there's our little office building. It's going to have a couple chokers in there. We'll have the chokers hiding under desks. It'll be really creepy. It's perfect. All right. So let's see here. Walking into this building, it is clear that this was some sort of office building. Perhaps a management office for whoever organizes and organized and saw and organized and oversaw. That's what I'm trying to say. Oversaw the businesses within this now abandoned part of town. Alright, so there we go. So perhaps management office for whoever organized and oversaw the business in this part of town. Okay, so now we're going to put DM note here. The chokers are hiding under desks when players enter. DC 14 to notice them before the chokers jump out and attack. Boom. Just kind of do that, and then we enter our battle. And then otherwise, the room is empty. So we'll go ahead and empty. So usually in my rooms, there's pretty much in every room I'll put some sort of reward for the players to sort of find once they've cleared out the room of whatever danger is there. But every once in a while, you make sure and leave a room empty, just so that way it messes with their brains if they think there's always supposed to be something. And the other thing is just not every room can be lucky. I mean, come on. So we'll say this one's empty. As you ransack the room, you find nothing of any particular value. Even the bookshelves are filled with nothing but ledgers regarding rent payments and taxation notes about the surrounding businesses. There it is. Boom. There. A nice, simple, disappointing room. Oh, man. Gotcha. So he's just really cranky old guy. I feel you. All right. So there we go. So there's our... Yeah, I think that's great. I think that's a great first segment for our players in this particular dungeon. I dig it. I'm pleased with it. That looks interesting and fun for them to explore. I think it'll be great. Okay, I'm gonna take a quick pause, just like a 5-minute break. I just need to run to the bathroom and refill my drink. So I'll be right back. We're gonna keep going. I'm not done yet, but I got a long ways from being done streaming today. But yeah, I gotta just take a quick break. Like I say, less than 5 minutes. So sit tight. I'll be right back. I appreciate your patience. Yeah, I will be shortly. I will be shortly. I'll be back shortly. There we go. That's what I was trying to say. All right, I am back, and let's get back to it here. So we finished our first stage of this this dungeon that we're working on. That feels good. Glad to be making progress on this. So let's go on to the next one, right? That's what we're here to work on. We're here to work on our campaign. So we might as well keep working on our campaign. So now this part of the whole dungeon, this part of this stage of this sort of like larger overarching chapter of the campaign here is in a more suburban part of the Dwarven area. I just kind of envisioned this being just a whole bunch of Dwarven houses, abandoned, but just like Dwarven houses everywhere. And I think it'll be kind of fun because it's like traps will be a home security system that's still in place, you know, within this area or something along those lines. I think it'll be really fun. So I think this is gonna be a cool one. So I'm excited to kind of do it. But first thing is first, we need to, if I'm remembering my notes properly, we need to figure out what is gonna go. So we have figured out the monsters in here, which are very much just like the theme of the monsters here are meant to be just like very like spidery as well as just sort of like creepy, almost like brain game horror type of characters. All of the enemies as we've set them up here, and the doppelganger is going to be really fun because I'm going to have the doppelganger serve as sort of an NPC through a lot of it, where it's going to be like the doppelganger wants to eventually try and replace one of the players so it can have an excuse to leave this dungeon and sort of gain a place and work its way into more larger societies secretly. And so it's going to be playing a long game of trying to isolate a player or something like that, is what it wants to do. So we're going to have some fun with that one. But the first thing we got to do is we do have to figure out, because I don't think, we haven't established what, as far as our dangers and rewards are going to go in each room. Hey, Evig? I don't know how to pronounce it, but welcome. Glad to have you here. So we got to decide that. But as is tradition, I'm going to do it. Calling Crow. Okay, I will do my best to remember that. I make no promises, but I will do my best. All right, but as is tradition, I need to get my dice because we let the dice decide what goes in each room. Sometimes we make, executive decisions to change that. But I got to grab my dice because they're still in my bag from the last time I played D&D. So I got to go grab those. I will be back. You're gonna be able to see me fussing around in the background while I get them. So 1 second. Alright, we've got our dice, so we are ready to let fate decide how we're going to structure this dungeon. I always love doing it this way. It's because sometimes within dungeons there are certain rooms that have to be certain things based on the layout and what I want to put in there. But as a general rule, I really like just doing it randomly because it turns it into sort of a creative writing exercise for me to sort of have it be a situation where it's like, okay, like this room has to have this element in it. So you kind of have to sort of be able to work with that randomness and figure out what that means for how you're going to structure the dungeon. And I really like doing it that way. So I'm going to pull out a set of dice here. We're going to do it randomly and figure out which of my dice sets we're going to use this time around. That one feels fun. All right, we're going to use our like dandelion set. Will the camera focus? There it is. Our pretty green and yellow. And it's all mirrored because I don't know, that's just how my camera is set up. So now I gotta find the matching dice in each one. Da-da-da. Da-da. And then we need a D4. Nope, wrong one. Where is it? There you are. Beautiful. Alright. So as tradition with the way I set up my the way I like to set up my dungeons here, let's see here. Alright, yeah. So we're going to, I need a pen. Everything is just so far, just barely out of reach. Oh, good. I managed to grab it without knocking everything, without causing my entire shelf to come crashing down on me. So we have every single room. Well, not every single room. Most of the rooms will have one, as you can see the way it's set up here, one danger and one reward in there, just to kind of make them fun and interesting for our players to go through. The dangers include easy battles, medium difficulty battles, hard battles, and then depending on how things are set up, there may or may not be a boss or a mini boss. Within there. I usually will do it so that if it's a mini boss, the challenge just matches a hard battle. But if it's like a boss, that battle is even more difficult than the standard hard level difficulty battles that players will have encountered throughout the dungeon so far. So we do that, and then as far as rewards go, I do sort of homebrew mechanics, and one of these days I'll actually make a video that describes how I do them and why. But the gist of it is we have a compass, which works a lot like a compass in a Legend of Zelda game, where it's like, hey, this thing will just sort of give you clues about if there's something of value in this room or that room. So that's a good one. And then there's a map. There's always a map there, so players, as a baseline, they're kind of in the dark of how things are organized within a floor or a dungeon, but they can find a map that will then sort of at least reveal the layout to them, just sort of as a reward. And the other homebrew item type of reward is there's always an enchantment token, which is a system that I've created for my players, and they really like it. That gives them the opportunity to enchant their own weapons with different powers, as opposed to just hoping they find a magical item and hoping that it's one that they like. There's an enchantment token that gives them a cool spell of sorts that can then be added to their weapons to give their weapons that they already have some unique powers. So we do those things, and then the other rewards basically just come down to getting money, getting potions, or getting clues or hints or information about the area they're in and the quests they're working on. So let's go ahead and set this up, or let's go ahead and start randomly distributing all of this type of stuff. And so we just roll the dice and see what happens. So our first room is going to be, oh, there we go. So room number 1 is going to be the safe room. So like I said, most rooms will have a danger in there, but I always make sure there's at least one safe room in each set of rooms. Just to, I mean, really what that ends up doing is it just ends up messing with their heads. Because they're so used to seeing dangers everywhere that suddenly there's not one that's dangerous, and that's going to really screw with their heads. And if I'm not messing with their heads, then I'm really just not DMing right. I mean, honestly. Alright, so there'll be a safe room, and there'll be some potions in there as well for the reward. And we'll figure out exactly what those are when we get to each room. So now this one, the danger is going to be an easy battle. Easy battle. And the reward will be and just like how most rooms are dangerous, only most rooms have a reward, and this one is our empty room. Again, just to mess with them and to disappoint them, because if I'm not disappointing my players, then I'm not doing my job as a DM right. So, do you guys like how high my self-esteem is? Alright, the next room is going to have this room is going to have a puzzle of some sort in it for the danger. Puzzles are more like a potential danger, but we'll get into those details when we get there. So it's going to have a puzzle in it, and then the reward for solving said puzzle will be some sort of treasure, some sort of money reward. So probably the puzzle will relate to finding or unlocking some citizen's personal, safe or whatever that they had in there with all of their valuables before they ditched out and ran away from the city, leaving it abandoned. So that's good. All right, so our next room, the danger will be, oops, gotta roll that one. There we go. Danger will be a medium battle. Oops, there we go. Medium battle. And then the reward will be That's going to be where our compass goes. Good. I always like when the compass is kind of hid in the middle of the rooms rather than like just being in the first room. It always feels like I uphold it unless I have a very good reason not to, but it always feels like a disappointment to me if either the map or the compass are in the first room players interact with. Just because it's like, dang it, those are supposed to be things that they had to earn and they suddenly get it first try. Alright, so then our next room, the danger will be an easy battle. And the reward for handling that battle will be that's where our enchantment token is gonna be placed. Although I've kind of changed it, it's not necessarily gonna have an enchantment token. It might be an item related to the enchanting. I've been toying with the idea of, rather than just like having multiple tokens throughout a single chapter or whatever, like each chapter has one like sort of prescribed magical item that could almost be like an Achilles heel type of thing for whatever the boss is. So if they find all the parts and like craft them together, then suddenly they can have like a really cool extra powerful weapon or item that might give them an advantage or something like that. I've been toying around with that idea. I don't know if I'm going to worry about it for this dungeon because I haven't thought about it at all, but moving forward I think that'd be kind of a fun thing for them. I'm all about giving my players a good time. So, read into that however you like. Alright, the next room is going to have... Dang it, I can't roll sixes. There aren't 6 things left. Next room is going to have an easy battle. Wow. Got all of our easy battles taken care of. And actually, the way this dungeon is situated, because all the easy battles are in the lower number rooms, that means that's in the later rooms. So when they first enter this part of the dungeon, they're going to be in danger. Alright, and the reward for that room will be potions. And then our next room, let's see here, we need to go down to our D4, because only 4 things left. That is going to be a medium battle. And then the reward will be, alright. That's going to be, more money. More money! Someone else's just money that they left behind. We'll put treasure. Treasure, money, kind of the same thing. I guess not necessarily. I actually should change this one to just say treasure. Because money is just money, but treasure could be things that are worth money. An important distinction. And when I say important distinction, I mean largely arbitrary, at least as far as game mechanics go. But dang it, I want my adventures to feel a bit more varied and exciting. All right. So this room is going to be where the mini boss is. Mini boss. So that's going to be where the doppelganger is. This one's going to be different again because this isn't going to be where they fight the doppelganger necessarily. It'll depend on a lot of things. Mostly what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the doppelganger and I'm going to write out what his goal is. And so all throughout this dungeon until either he succeeds or, you know, he gets made and they figure out who he is, it's going to be just like they encounter him and then he tries to go about his thing and we just sort of like improv it and I just sort of play it by ear and figure it out. And then the reward here is going to be lore. So I call it lore just for the sake of broad scope, but that's going to be, because sometimes lore is essential to whatever the mission is of the dungeon, and other times, you know, the mission is pretty simple. Like in this situation, the mission is just to get to the end of the vaults, right? To make your way to the end of this part of the dungeon. And so there's not really any clues necessarily needed for that. So it's going to be much more along the lines of like, hey, here's how you can sort of understand what happened down here. And I'll probably instead include with that some clues that might help them find and access the vaults once they get to the end of it. You know, so it's like it won't be relevant necessarily for this floor or this segment of the dungeon, but in the long run it can still be helpful stuff for them. So we'll do that. Now we only got 2 stuff left here, so Alright, so that one's going to have a hard battle in it. Hard battle. Oops. There we go. And then the reward is going to end up being... that's where the map is going to be. Okay, so they will have the chance to find the map pretty early. Which is, like I say, it's kind of a bummer, but hey, you know what? Maybe I'll just make sure and hide it really well. Or at least make the battle really hard. So there we go. And then, I guess I don't know why I rolled the dice, because there's only one option left for either of these. So this first room is going to be trapped. Oh man, that's perfect though. See, now that's good. If like the first room they encounter is trapped, that's always really fun, because that's going to do a really good job of establishing some severe paranoia in them for the rest of the dungeon, which is always just so much fun. Like, the paranoia is such a good way to mess with them without even having to actually be mean. It's just them being mean to themselves, essentially. And then the reward for that one is going to be some sort of lore. Alright, so our dice have done their job for now. We can put them back. Because I don't know about anyone else, but I am a bit of a tidy, neat freak type of person. And the dice need to absolutely be properly put away and organized. I cannot stand to have my dice all out of order and all over the place. Call me crazy. But I am what I am, and there's very little I can do to actually change that. I'm not going to try and fuss with the shelves while on stream, because that is a guaranteed way to get it to all come literally crashing down on me. And I don't know that I'm really in the mood to humiliate myself to that level live on the internet. I mean, I'm sitting here live on the internet, and I mean, I mildly humiliate myself at least 3 times a day when I do that. But I don't want to like actively break my home on stream and trying to do something that isn't like super easy, such as lifting the top shelf right now while I'm sitting down. It's not gonna happen. And you might ask, why don't you just, stand up if that's the case? Because then you can reach the top shelf easily. And the answer to that is because I'm very lazy. Right? I'm sitting here. I got myself in my little gaming throne. You saw me messing around with my blanket, right? Because I'm a cold guy all the time. I'm always so cold in the middle of winter nowadays. It's not like a health issue. It's just like, it's the opposite of that. I lost a lot of weight, so I just don't have any natural insulation, so I'm cold all the time. So I have my electric blanket, and that's the thing. It's an electric blanket, so you got to lay it out all nice and even, so that way it doesn't overheat itself or overheat me in any place. So I got to get that all put in place. And I've got like my lumbar support pillow, so that way I can be comfortable on my chair for 4 hours while I'm sitting here streaming. It's a whole process. It's a whole process, and just standing up just kind of disrupts it, and it's not worth it. It's not worth it, because I can just stand up and take care of it in a little bit when the stream's done. So, that's just the best way to do it, honestly. So, anyway, no one wanted all of that information, but you got it anyway, right? Because this is my stream, and I can talk about whatever I want. And you're just along for the ride, you goofballs. Alright. So, get my keyboard back into range here for easy typing. Let's start designing a new floor here. We've got about a half hour left in stream. That is a good chunk of time to work on stuff. I'm sorry, I'm adjusting my headset. One of these days I'll actually spend some money on a nicer microphone, so I don't have to just sit here with my headphones around my neck to have a microphone. So basically what I'm saying is one of these days I'll actually be good at streaming rather than being just a friggin' amateur all day, every day. But here we are. That day is not today. The day is just not today. Okay, so we need to pull up our dungeon here. So this is all going to be like back alley type stuff, which I prefer. And the way I want to do this, I'm actually going to get a little bit stuff already put in here. I want to go to our object tool here. Actually, first we're going to go over here. We're going to do our portals. So we're going to put all the doors in these places. It's going to be kind of weird because all of the doors are going to be facing the same way. It's just going to be... Wait, no, they're not. I know what I'm going to do. Do it there. It is going to be pretty uniform. Like, I feel like this is going to be the Dwarven version of, like, suburban hell, where it's like every building looks roughly the same. That's the idea that I have for this. So we'll put, like, a door right there. This one will be maybe fancy enough that it has double doors. Actually, yeah, if we do that. And then that one. That. And then this one. Da-da. Right there. All the doors face south. I don't know why I'm deciding that, but I'm deciding that right now. Oh, wait, no, hold on. Just need the handle facing down. And then we need to do this one. Dang it. It's just like random whether or not it has the handle facing down. And it's kind of a pain sometimes. There we go. I don't know why that one's going to have a double door, but it is. It's so tiny, but... Alright. I'm going to do a door. And then... There. There we go. Perfect. So now I want to put the torches in place. Because what I'm thinking, what I see in my mind's eye here, is that there are torches. Oops. Alright, we can unsnap now. I want to put like torches around each door, right? Because it's like a front porch and everyone has a porch light. So it's like, that's what it is. It's like Dwarven porch lights. Naturally. Maybe one or two of them are blue because they're like bug zapper torch lights. I mean, I have to imagine that in a world of magic they would have found some way to like create a lamp that serves as like a bug zapper. Like a magical bug zapper. I think that's just an obvious progression of magic. You know, you have the ability to come up with these things. Why wouldn't you make them? It's like one of my biggest gripes with the Harry Potter series. Man, I'm in a really tangent rant mood right now. But it's one of my biggest gripes with the Harry Potter series is like the excuse for why they don't reveal themselves to muggles. And they're all like, oh, well, they just all want magical solutions to all their problems, wouldn't they? And it's like, yeah. You guys can literally solve all of our problems just by, like, waving a wand. It's like, oh, no, my car broke down. Like, you can just kind of go and be like, whoop, there you go. It's working now. Like, it's solved. Like, you selfish jerks. Why wouldn't you? Why? Like, you don't even have to do it altruistically. You don't even have to be all like, oh, I'll just do everything for free always. You could charge money for it. But, like, share the magic. Come on, man. I don't know why I kind of got on that tangent or how it relates to what I'm doing, but it's just a thought that, like, you know, it just kind of gets to me sometimes. Like, I think about it, I'm like, man, I'm like, just, like, still upset about that. Even all the years later that I still watch the Harry Potter movies from time to time. They're kind of like one of those annual watch type of situations. But it's like I still always kind of get a little peeved about that one, because it's like, come on, guys. It could be such a good way to sort of like build a sense of brotherhood between you and Muggles, and it's like it would be great if you guys could just like not have to live in complete secrecy, right? Like, who wants that? Like, no one should choose that. I wouldn't think most people would want to have to live in disguise 24/7 always in the world. Like, I know I wouldn't be into it. I don't know, maybe I shouldn't project and assume to know what a wizard would like. Not like I am one. So what the hell do I know? But still, I mean, I guess I no, you know what? No, I'm gonna go ahead and make those claims because the fact is that's a very human experience, right? Humans don't like to have to pretend. Humans are not happy individuals when they have to pretend to be someone they're not. And and like wizards are people too. So no, they should hate that. And they should be excited to share their powers with everyone else, even if it's just for the selfish reason of not having to live in you know, self-imposed exile. Like, that's an objectively better way to live. So I don't get it. Anyway, there, we've got the lights on. We've got the lights in the like street of this area. So that's in order. That's good to go. And now we can start sort of putting together all of our rooms here. All of our rooms. Be good. And I'm having a lot of fun working on this campaign. Like, I'm really glad I've decided to start mixing up and varying how I design, or how I what I'm doing during any stream, because it's like each stream is so much more exciting now because it's not something that I've been doing day after day after day, you know. Like before the new year, I was just every day we'd sit down and we'd work on the campaign, and don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it, but man, it's so much more fun to be working on the campaign now that I haven't done it every single day this week. It's just so much more exciting to mix it up. Same with video games. Man, it's really cool. This is really fun. I don't know. Anyway, I mean, that was a little self-indulgent, but I mean, like, is any part of streaming not self-indulgent and self-aggrandizing? I mean, I'm sitting here just trying to be entertaining because in some way, shape, or form, I believe myself to be entertaining and worthy of attention. That's why I'm sitting here. It's just like, it's a very self-absorbed approach to things. Like, that's just streaming, isn't it? I keep doing space to try and scroll down because I forget that that OneNote lets me scroll, whereas it's a Dungeon Draft that I have to like press space to slide around. And I don't know, whatever. Safe room, I don't know. Walk into this abandoned household and see that little of value was left behind when the family that once lived here fled. A few pieces of upturned furniture and some clothes tossed about suggest that whoever lived here all those years ago left in a great hurry. There we go. Look at that. I'll just correct this the lazy way because I don't feel like trying to pinpoint where to put the cursor. Alright, I'll just go left in a hurry. Left in a great hurry. That's all we really need for that. And then we'll just do underline here, so potions. I'm gonna put a DM note here. I don't want these to just be sitting out there. We'll say DC 12 to find the hidden cavern in the wall that contains the potions. So I always put the DM note first. Like I say, it's good to put the DM note first before whatever the DM note is discussing actually comes up. Because if you put the stuff that you intend to read to players first and then the DM note afterwards, you might accidentally read all of that out loud to your players before remembering that, like, oh, I wasn't supposed to tell them all that, and then just trying to get them to, like, forget everything you just told them. Like, even if they're good sports about it and they're like, oh, that's meta knowledge our characters don't know, well, then they're gonna know, and so they'll always be like, oh yeah, we should check that again to try and find that stuff. And it's like, dang it. Like, because basically you either effectively gave it away, right, gave away the items for free to the players, or you essentially took it away. Because if the players choose to not metagame, basically what that means is they'll probably be polite and never go back and find the stuff again because it'll feel unfair to them. So either way, you've just ruined the room for them. And that's not a good thing. If you're the DM, that's a bad thing. You don't want to ruin you don't want to destroy the room for them. It's bad news. So you put the DM note first, so that way you remember to take care of all that stuff first. So, perfect. And so persons, yeah, I need to find that. Let's see here. We'll say barely visible is a small rectangular crack in the wall. A small worn out spot within the rectangle suggests repeated pressure was put on this spot over many years. Pressing on it, the rectangle swings open, revealing a small hidden cubby filled with a few potions that must have been forgotten in the rush to leave. And so what I always do is there's always 3 health potions, right? So 3. I think we're at the point now, if they're level 5, we're supposed to be giving them their greater health potions. Yeah. Health potion. And then I always give them 2 of something else. And I kind of want, like, I always try to have that something else be something that's, like, relevant to the types of challenges and mysteries that exist within this part of the dungeon or this dungeon or whatever. And what I kind of want to do... oh, whoops, that's the wrong floor. I want to come back up here. Trying to think. I wanna get, so what I'm fussing over in my brain is I want to try to find some way to make it so that, like, it will give them an advantage on detecting that it's a doppelganger or avoiding its read thoughts ability. Doppelganger magically reads surface thoughts of one creature within 60 feet of it. The effect can penetrate barriers, but 3 feet of wood, 2 feet of stone, 2 inches of metal, or a thin sheet of lead blocks it. The target is in range. The doppelganger can continue to read its thoughts as long as the doppelganger's concentration isn't broken, as if concentrating on a spell. While reading the target's mind, the doppelganger has advantage on wisdom and charisma checks against the target. So I almost want to just, like, homebrew a potion and have it be like a potion of strong mind or something like that. And what it will do is, like, when they take it, there's, like, they have, like, the ability to possibly fight off the read thoughts thing. There's that, or you could give them, like, a potion of true sight or something like that so they can see that it's a doppelganger, not one of their companions or something like that when it tries to replace them. So I think I'm gonna go with, like, the true sight ones. And there's 2 potion rooms, so we can do both. Can do, like, a potion of true sight and a potion of, like, strong mind or whatever. Just home brewing potions. I do tend to be pretty fast and loose about that. That kind of stuff, just because it's all about setting a scene and telling a story with my friends rather than trying to necessarily do things by the rules. If I were doing this for, like, Adventure League, it'd be very different. But since it's just, like, my way of playing is always just with friends, that's what I'm designing this with. And, like, that's what I'm keeping in mind as I'm designing this. So with this one, we're gonna say potion of true sight, and what we'll say is player who drinks gets the advantages of the true sight spell. We'll say last true sight. Oh, excuse me. True sight is a 1-hour spell. I'm thinking with a potion, maybe we lessen that to maybe like 10 minutes. lasts 10 minutes. Because I kind of want it to just be like a shot of clarity that a player can have at some point if they suspect something. I don't want it to be too overpowered. So I think that'll be a good balance right there. Sorry, I got distracted. My cat is dozing very, very adorably in a sunbeam because we're having a sunny day for a change. And it's super cute, and I love it. Okay, now I gotta design this room. This is gonna be a little house. I mean, do they have just like a collection? It's like house. We got horse. Armor, bed. See, they've got like all the individual parts, like a bed, tables, all that kind of stuff. But I really like for them to just have like a home section. You know what I mean? Like structure, yeah, that's not it. Those are like actual structures. Beer, grave, horse. Yeah, no, they don't. I'll just have to do it bit by bit, I guess. For each one of these. So okay, so we need a bed. Definitely need a bed. Maybe this one's got just like a single, or you know what? A house this size. We're gonna give it like, actually, we'll give it one of these. It's like mom and dad's bed, and then we'll like give it the kids' bed or something like that, right? I don't know. They have anything? They don't really have anything smaller, do they? Oh, they've got a little baby crib. Oh, yeah, we'll put the little baby crib right there. And then we'll put like this one here. That's like the kids' bed, right? Can do that. And then I don't know, like we'll just kind of go along here. Cave, chair. Yeah, we'll do chairs. Maybe there's like a, maybe it's like dad's recliner. Excuse me. Excuse me. My apologies. I'm not bored. Just body wants a siesta. You know how it goes. So if we do that, and then there's going to be like a little table in the center, and we can do like a couple chairs. If we do like there, there, we can put one like right there, and then one kind of out and pushed away, and we'll put a table. We'll put a table like right in the center there. So when we get to it. Decor. Yeah, all of them, all of the dwarves keep a tiger head mounted to their walls. No one really knows where the tradition began, but it's a good luck. It's a good luck. It was back when the dwarves still lived there. It was a good luck practice to give newlyweds a tiger head. I don't know. I'm making that up. No, I'm just improving. It's a skill you gotta have. No, we don't want desk. It's gonna be a table. Dining. We'll put the dining on top of the table, I guess. Door. Oh, look at, you can have all the broken doors. Fire. No, well, these guys don't have a fireplace. I don't know. Games, gear, garden, gargoyle. Wait, what's fixture? Oh yeah, like okay. I changed my mind. We are gonna put a fireplace in each of these places because they would have to have something to like cook by, right? I mean, it's a home. You have to be able to cook your meals. So we'll give all of them just like a small fireplace. It's long since it's been put out. Food, fountain, game. I feel like I almost am obligated to put some kind of food onto the table. We'll do that after we do the table. You know what? Screw it. We're going to do the table right now. Table right now. I just want a small, there we go, just a small circular one. Just like that. Do that, and now we can go back to where was it? Where's dining? Dining. We can just put like maybe there's like a little pitcher and a little plate right there, and then I don't know. We'll put like a knife right there, and like a fork right there. There we go. Dining. I don't know. It's whatever. So we can do that, and then I want to give them, I feel like most families would have some sort of like family chest or vault or something like that. But then they also have that hidden one in the wall, which I think is perfect. Because that one can be like a red herring, right? Where it's like they see that and they're like, oh, that chest is gonna have something, you know it is, and then it doesn't. Ha, got him. So that's good, just like that. Now I guess we gotta just give them some torches. Actually, I feel like a lot of these homes would have maybe just like a singular chandelier that hangs overhead. I mean, that's really all they need to light any of these rooms. Let's do it like that. There we go. Perfect. I bet you we can come up with... Oh, especially because there's no reward. We can just kind of come up with a battle and a description real quick. We can do that real quick. Easy battle. Oops, wait, hold on. I need to re-underline that. Because the easy battle, we need to talk about how many experience points it's going to have. Actually, reminds me. Didn't come up with what our wandering monster battles are going to be here. We'll finish up. Actually, you know, let's go ahead and just do that right now. That's going to be pretty easy. It's a quick thing. I bet you we'll still have time. We got about 10 minutes left in the stream. Here, so this needs to be 5 of our things. 2, 3, 4, 5. We need to have 2 wandering monsters. Delete that. Right, and we can just do copy. Paste that. Wandering monsters approach. Wandering monsters always set to medium. Citizens are going to be worth 800 experience apiece. So we'll do 4 core spawn crawler. That's fine. It's good enough. It's whatever. Do that, and then the wandering monsters will be, and then the other one will be. We can't have it be the doppelganger. Oh, actually, no. It would be kind of cool if the doppelganger was a wandering monster. That's how the boss was, and so it's just like they could randomly interact with it. That'd be kind of interesting too. No, I'm gonna stick with the doppelgangers hiding in one of the rooms, and when they approach it, it's gonna first appear like a Duragar, is what it's gonna do, like a scared injured one, because it knows that there are the injured ones elsewhere, and so it's gonna try and convince them that it's one of those types of guys, and I think that'll be good. I think that'll be really good. So instead, we could just flat out do like 8 of, wait, hold on. What are these? I didn't write it down. Oh, the chitines. Could just flat out do 8 chitines, just like wandering around. That would really mess with them. Actually, no, it's going to be a little overpowered because it's like 800 is the prescribed. We're just going to do 2 Nothics as a possible wandering encounter that they could have. I think that's good. I think that's real good. All right, easy battle. That's gonna be, what was that? 400 experience points. That should be worth here. Where is it? Easy battle is 400 experience points. So we could do 2 of the core spawn crawlers. Yeah, why not? Why not? Let's do that. Easy battle, 400 XP, and now we can be done with the underlining. And do 2x core spawn crawler. Worth 200 XP a pop. Always make sure to put the little note about how much experience points each individual one is worth. Just so that way, if for some reason players only kill one of them, like one of them escapes, or they let one of them live, or something along those lines, you know, we can have an easy way to distribute the experience points we need to based on how things end up panning out. So we can do it that way. And we'll say, hold on, I gotta remember myself actually. What do those guys look like? Let's go to D&D Beyond really quickly here. Or spawn crawler. Alright, oh yeah, they look like the frickin' Zerg monsters, that's right. Oh god, they're so creepy. Alright, yeah. No, that's fair though, because things are just meant to be getting creepier and creepier. So we'll say, walking into this room is an immediately regrettable decision. Though the room is fairly normal by expectations for an abandoned dwarven home. The creatures in it are a horrible are a horrible surprise. We'll say grotesque and unfamiliar as even resembling something of this world. The creatures are enough to fuel the nightmares of any grown adult, let alone a child who's afraid of the dark. I'm getting real flowery with the description in this one, but hey, you know, sometimes it's fun to do that. Perfect. And then empty. Underline. Empty. Though this home was clearly, let's see here. Though you managed to vanquish the monstrosities that were waiting for you in this home, your efforts are not rewarded. The creatures held no pockets, let alone anything in them, and the household was clearly emptied upon the departure of its former residents. Boom, there we go. Perfect. Good description. Everything's good to go. And then we just need to decorate this room a little bit. We'll go ahead and, yeah, we got 5 minutes. We can decorate this one real quick. The thing that'll make this easier too now is we can go to our object tool and we can just like hover around in the used section, right where we have a whole lot of things already put in here. So we're gonna put, I think we'll just put a singular bed in this one. We'll do a bed. We can just put up a table. Where are our smaller tables? There we go. We'll put the table. This one's gonna be a little different. We'll put the table with a couple chairs. Oops, the chairs need to go under the table. Do that right there. And then this one, let's see. Oh, we need to put in a fireplace hearth. Put the fireplace maybe like right there. We put that just like that. Maybe this one will have just like a couple chairs by the fireplace, right? So that's what the people like to do there. We can do that, and then we can go to. There we go. We can just like put. Well, did I ever use? I might have to go into the actual section to find it. It's a small table. Just a box. We could put. I guess we could put a bookshelf. A bookshelf wouldn't be out of place. Put like a bookshelf. Yeah, maybe this family was like elderly couple that like to read. If we do that, and then do they have a section for rugs here? Yeah, they do. Let's put a little rug in there. Bigger than that. Not that big. There we go. That's a good space for a rug. Maybe there's like a rug right in front of the fireplace that they would sit there and enjoy. We'll do that, and then we'll do a little chandelier hanging in the center here. Add our little light tool. Kabloom! There we go. 2 houses done. Let's save that bad boy. I'm going to save that bad boy because looking at the time, it is about time for me to call it a writing stream for the day. What's going to happen, I'm going to just go ahead and take myself like a 15-minute break as I do, and then we'll be back. We're going to play some American Truck Simulator today and just kind of give ourselves a nice chill joyride into the weekend is sort of what my goal is. Today As I've explained all week, I'm trying to this year mix up what I'm streaming. So I'm not always streaming the same stuff every day, day after day after day. So today what we're going to do is we're going to enjoy our calm, chill Fridays. And we're doing that with American Truck Simulator. So like I say, we're just going to go for a nice cruise and just ride into the weekend that way. I think that sounds like a nice, wonderfully chill way to do things. So yeah, like I say, I'm going to take a break and we're going to do that. As far as writing stream goes, thank you for everyone who joined. Quieter day today, but hey, it's Friday. Everyone's off doing fun things, and you know what? I get that. And I respect that. So, but still, for those who did stop by, those who were chatting with me, I appreciate you guys. I thank you for coming and joining me. If you are interested in more of my streams and you want some more up-to-date like announcements if I ever have to cancel a stream or anything like that, I do have a Discord channel. You can get yourselves connected with that. The link to it is on my Twitch page. So if you get yourself hooked up there, I do announce every day when I'm getting ready to start streaming, and I also will give announcements on if I have to cancel a stream, which is somewhat common for me because I do have a day job that sort of takes priority. But yeah, that option is there for you, as well as also I'm doing my best to sort of have it be a good community where people can share their homebrew type stuff, and I can give it a bit more of a more detailed look down and give you some more detailed, constructive discussion about whatever you're creating. I try to do it on stream, but it's hard because I'm also trying to do my own thing here on stream. So that can be a really good place for that kind of stuff if that's what you're interested in. So that's an option, or that's a resource available to you. The other thing that I'll plug is that I do also have a YouTube channel. There's not a whole lot going on there right now. I'm trying to expand and do a bit more with it. But right now, it is a good source for all the VODs. So if you want to see other things I've written in the past, if you want to watch some of the other games that I've streamed, you can go on and check out those VODs. Great background noise if that's what you're into. So yeah, check that out if you're interested. With that, I think that's all of the plugs that I've got right now. It is Friday, so I'll just talk about next week. Next week, right now, the schedule is going to still be streaming Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday like I do, with writing streams starting those days at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and then gaming streams starting at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you want to check me out there, I should be there all week. That said, there's some family stuff that is definitely going to happen soon, but it's unclear what day that's going to be. It might be next weekend. It might be in the middle of the week. I don't know. So there's a good chance that one or two streams will be canceled next week. I will do my best to offer up announcements once I know exactly how that's going to pan out. But like I say, for right now, the plan is to stream my usual Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So look for me then if you want to see what else I'm up to. But I think that's all I got. So I'm about to go on break. Hopefully I'll see you guys there. If not, it's totally okay. I appreciate you stopping by for the time that you did spend with me. It means a lot to me that you're showing interest in the stuff that I'm doing. It feels good. And I appreciate the support. So with that in mind, take care of yourselves. I will be back in a few minutes to see you then. So sit tight. And yeah, I'll see you soon.